I bought this giant roller skating rink for £2.6 million. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I bought it, how I bought it, and what am I going to do with it. The big question is, do they actually make any money? Right, let me break down this deal for you. I want to give you some context to actually why I bought this thing. As you can see, it's a roller skating rink. It's called Roller City. It does 1.4 million worth of gross revenue. Over 100,000 people come here each and every single year, from 6-year-olds to 60-year-olds. So it's grabbing whole of market. If you're in hospitality and leisure, like I am, I've got a ton of hospitality and leisure businesses, you'll know grabbing whole of market gives you a much better chance for profitability. Now, the people that owned it before me were two couples, and they set this up. They moved it from one location where it had closed down and put it into this big, massive warehouse. They'd done a brilliant job of fitting it out, but they decided they wanted to get out. They're a few years away from retirement and want to enjoy some nice holidays. Was that the reason that I bought this business? I do like a retirement sale, but no, not really. That wasn't the reason. Was it because I knew something up my sleeve that they were missing out that could massively drive up the profitability? No, not really. Was it because I am in hospitality and leisure? I've got coffee shops, ice cream parlors, even hotels and visitor attractions? No. In fact, running indoor leisure businesses I find much tougher than ever before. So what was the reason why I, James Sinclair, wanted to buy this roller skating rink? Well, dear viewer, the answer is on the other side of this wall. There is a strategic reason. Let me break it down for you. And behind that wall is this warehouse that holds all the stock from one of my distribution companies, and also my ice cream factory that manufactures Rossi ice cream, and also our bakery that manufactures all these delicious treats that we supply to all of our venues and locations. Now, talking about all those venues and locations, they need cleaning stuff and drinks to sell to our customers. We also distribute all of that from here as well. So as you can see, this is Roller City here, half of the building, but I already owned that half of the building. So it was a shared freehold. Half of the car park at the front was owned by me, half of the car park was owned by Roller City, and I wanted to control whoever came in here because I had a great relationship with the owners of Roller City. There was no guarantee that if someone else came in, there would be that same great relationship. And because of this shared car park thing, I just wanted to control the whole site. It's a beautiful building as well. It stands on a nice big plot. There's also one other little bonus, and that is this gigantic yard at the back, which is really rare in commercial property terms. But let me just break this down first of all. That half of the building was the Rossi ice cream factory, the distribution, and you can see all these vehicles. We were taking up way more than our half that we originally had. This is the Roller City side. They've got a bit of storage here. We've got this massive electric gate system, so it's really safe and secure. This is really rare to find in commercial property. Usually with a commercial property like this one next door, you've just got that small little side unit and then you're backed up against some shrubs or bushes, so you've got nothing at the back. So we've got a massive car park at the front, this big yard at the back. I just put an overlay shot over my face right now so you can really see why that's so strategic and important for us. But I'm also looking for the added value when I'm buying property, because I could extend half of this unit out in the future and still have a yard, or I could get rid of this yard completely and put another bigger building here. All massive plays for 5-10 years time. I like a bit of commercial property. I've got lots of it. Owning this site, controlling this site was definitely one of the reasons why I bought it, and really crucial that I had to do it. Timing didn't really fit into my calendar. I didn't want to buy this right now. I've got loads of other things going on, but I knew that if I didn't do the deal, I'd regret it in the future. But since owning it, I've discovered some real pluses with owning this business. Let's break it down. But first, let me tell you what tickles my taste buds when I find opportunities of businesses to buy. They've got to follow a certain set of criteria. Now, this is a process of buying businesses that I've repeated over 20 times. Most of the deals that I've done have gone spectacularly well. One or two I've been done over a bit, and I want to break that down so you don't make the same mistakes. Now, number one, you want to look for businesses that have over £1 million worth of revenue. Here we definitely had that, so that's a big tick in the box. Why is that so important? My experience is bigger businesses are much easier to grow, they're much easier to fund, they're much more fun to run because you've got cash flow around you. So number one, over $1 million of revenue is crucial. Number 2 is location-based businesses. I've had my fingers burned when I've bought businesses that were not location-based. The whole method of this is you want to be as high a barrier to entry as possible. What most people do when they look at opportunities is they look at the low barrier to entry stuff. Trust me, they're much harder work. They're not as protective. Here, you've got a massive location. You can't just easily pick this up and put it somewhere else. If someone else wanted to compete with us, they'd need a few million quid. So a location-based business that's been in the same place for a long time creates habits with your customers. They know where you are. They know where to park. They know that you're open all the time. They trust you because you've got a location around your business. I've been looking at this with e-commerce as well. You know, the customers that are doing really well with clicks, e-commerce, are the ones that have got bricks. Having bricks and clicks, having a location-based business that's also got a website means that people trust buying from you. It just is their back of mind thinking. So location-based businesses protect you. Number 3 is establishment. If you can find businesses that are established, that have been around like this one for like nearly 50 years, half a century, that's going to really help you out. Even in this site here, it's been here for 12 years. When you've got an established brand, it really gives you protection. It's like a rare and protected form of leverage. People like buying into historic brands. They just trust it more. We had this here. That's number 3. Number 4 is a little bit of money from a lot of people a lot of the time. Remember, I told you 100,000 customers come here each and every single year. You get your fingers burned if you buy businesses that are contract based and they're relying on one big customer to make the business happen. I have a little rule for business that no more than 10% of your revenue should come from any one customer. If you're watching this and you're thinking, my God, I've got 60% of my business coming from one big customer. Don't worry, that's fine. You want to keep those, but your job is to dilute them as quick as possible. This business is so great. You've got 100,000 customers here. If you lose 1 or 2, you can not have to worry that the business is going to come crashing down. If you've got a business where 40% of your revenue comes from one person and they decide that they're not going to be in business anymore, they go bust or they sell to someone else or bring the service in-house, you could lose your business overnight. So I like businesses where a little bit of money comes from a lot of people a lot of the time. Number 4 is having effective management teams. You want to buy businesses that are commercially profitable enterprises that work without you in it. You don't want to just buy yourself a job. What a disaster that would be. You're an entrepreneur. You want to be growing your business, not operating your business. Now, this business had an amazing management team in the business. And I knew that they were running the day-to-day because the current business owners that I bought it from were running other businesses. So there was a management team in place. That's really important for me because I want to be able to improve the management team, put all of our knowledge and historic hospitality and leisure experience into the business and not have to put my own management teams in place. That's very important for me. So let's go back to those bonuses that I spoke about earlier in the video. The bonuses here was VAT. See, if you've got a zoo or a visitor attraction and it costs £10 to get into your zoo or visitor attraction, all of that's VATable. VAT is 20%. Now here, like if you're going rock climbing, when you go roller skating, you have to use some roller skates and you rent those roller skates. Now, if it's for children, there's no VAT on the rental. So let's just break that down. A £10 trip to a visitor attraction, all of that is VATable. But if you pay £10 to go roller skating and half of that £10 is on the skate hire, say £5, there's no VAT on that £5. You're only paying £5 on the admission price, which is a massive benefit because all of that drops to the bottom line. All these little wins that you can look for in business can really seriously help profitability. Now, the next one was these 6 to 60-year-olds that come here. Now, I run visitor attractions and zoos, and really 1 to 8-year-olds want to go there. But here, you've got 6-year-olds skirting around on the rink with a 60-year-old going out a date with Nan. So that's really powerful. We've got a much wider age group to shop and market to. Over 1 million people in our county would like to go roller skating, but not really 1 million want to go to a children's play centre. So that's really powerful. It enhances the profitability. Now, bonus number 3 is I have this massive space that I can use for exhibitions, and I can also host my podcast here. It's like a big TV studio. If you haven't checked out the James Sinclair podcast, I'll put a little link in the video description for my second YouTube channel where I coach business owners on how I would grow their business. It's all filmed in here. Now, the next two parts of this video are going to be the most valuable, I think, for entrepreneurs and business owners. The first thing I want to talk about is how do I actually find deals and how do I get deals over the line? You might think, well, James, it's very obvious. You are next door to this business. But you have to actually ask this. It wasn't on the market. They hadn't gone to some business agent and said, hey, I'm selling my business. Would you like to buy it? Oh, no, Captain. What I did is I knocked on the door and said, hey, I'm next door. I'm James. Lovely to meet you. I love Roller City. Stage 1, build rapport, build relationship. Next time I saw them, hey, if you ever want to sell this one day, just let me know because I'd like to buy it from you. Plant the seed. And I repeated those seed planting tactics over a period of months. No, I wasn't aggressive. I just said, look, if you ever want to sell one day, hello, I've got a flag over here. I would like to buy it from you. Now, the problem is you never know what you've got going on. And I just bought another business and exhausted all my cash buying that other business. But, I'll always make a deal happen. There's always many ways to skin a cat, and I know most of them. Anyway, a few months ago, the owner said, hey, we'd like to sell now. We'd like to do other business interests. We'd like to sell to you. So then we have meeting after meeting how to come up with a deal structure. Now, remember, I told you I just bought another business, so I couldn't fund it 100% myself, but I knew that they had a mortgage debt on the property. And so I said to them, look, I'll take on the mortgage debt. I've got a property that I'm just selling and I've got some cash. I'll give you a deposit and then I'll pay you the rest in about 12 months when I've got another big thing selling. You have to build up rapport to have conversations like that. The way I bought this was I took on their debt, I took on the mortgage debt for the building, I put some cash in and then I'm paying them over a period of time using a process called vendor finance, something that I've done many, many times. Now, even if you've got all the cash in the world, when you buy a business, you must have an element of vendor financing, especially when you're buying a company, because there could be an insurance claim that hasn't been settled or a big utility bill or even a tax bill that's been missed. So if you've got a bit of vendor finance, you can offset that against any skeletons in the cupboard. When you're buying big companies, there's stuff that might not come out for 6 months. Maybe an electric bill has been done on estimates rather than actuals. You put a meter reading in and hey presto, there's another £100,000 worth of electric. So whenever you're buying a company, you always want to have a bit of seller finance in place in case anything crops up over the first 18 months of you owning the business. Vendor, seller finance to protect you, and also a good way of financing buying a business. You're going to put some cash in so that you've got skin in the game, and then you want to try and use some bank debt and take on existing debt that's already been put in place as long as it's not expensive. And this mortgage debt was with a big high street bank. So that's how I structured the deal. It meant that I could get it over the line rather than waiting for a year while I've got other things happening. But this business was also pleasantly surprising. It was very profitable. Now, I didn't buy this initially because I wanted to buy the profit of the business. I wanted to buy this from a freehold property controllership basis. I wanted to own the complete site because we was growing the business and I just thought, God, we need to own this site. But actually, this is a very profitable business and I'm seeing opportunities of how we can get more EBITDA into the business. EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. And EBITDA is really important in leisure and hospitality businesses, much better than net profit. I mean, you want to make a net profit, but you want to understand how much you're depreciating the business and how much interest you're paying on loans, because that's the amount of cash that the business is generating to service that interest and service that depreciation. Then when you've got a business that's in hospitality and leisure, you go and buy a big £10 million roller coaster that you're depreciating over 10 years. You've got $1 million of depreciation each and every single year in your accounts, but the £1 million hasn't gone out every single year. So that's why we track EBITDA as well as net profit in a leisure and hospitality business that's doing a lot of capital expenditure. Well, if you'd like some more entrepreneurial musings, why not check out my website, jamessinclair.net. There's loads of free resources there, including a link to my newsletter. I release a newsletter each and every single week on entrepreneurial musts that you can take to grow your business. Also links to all my events. I run events throughout the year on growing your business, buying companies, getting more customers, and becoming a commercially profitable enterprise. If you'd like to come along to one of my events, all the details are on jamessinclair.net. I'll see you there.